images out of Malibu, California, showing the Franklin fire, which has scorched more than 1,800 acres. 6,000 people are under evacuation orders. Officials were forced to shut down a stretch of the iconic Pacific Coast Highway. The city is still largely without power as crews work to contain the flames, and that's become even more challenging with a high wind warning in place until later this afternoon. CBS News correspondent Jonathan Vigliotti is on the ground and joins me live from Malibu to discuss this. So Jonathan, what's the latest?
Yeah, Vlad, the wind, as you can tell, has calmed down. So has the fire activity. Still, as you mentioned, more than 1,800 acres have been scorched. You have hundreds of fire crews that are working the scene around this area. They're trying to tamp down those flames before the wind picks up a little bit later this afternoon. To give you a little bit of a scene setter, we're really here in the heart of Malibu. We're just a short walk away from the main shopping area. When we first arrived earlier this morning, this whole area was surrounded by flames. Where I'm standing right now, we watched as 30-foot flames were pushed through. You're looking at what is the aftermath, what appears to be an industrial site. You could see these two vans here totally destroyed. To put some perspective just how intense this fire burned. At this hour, it is 0% contained. It jumped the Pacific Coast Highway a few hours ago. That is a 4-lane highway. It's currently threatening homes there along the coast. Crews working there. Meanwhile, the fire threat, the red flag warnings, extreme wind gusts exceeding possibly 80 miles per hour remains in effect through tomorrow evening. You can imagine it doesn't take a lot of wind to hit a hot spot and turn those small flames into a towering inferno, Vlad.
So, Jonathan, this fire was reported incredibly late last night, so a lot of those evacuation orders went well after people had already gone to bed. So what are people going through over these last 12 hours?
Yeah, and I was monitoring this at 11 o'clock. The Franklin fire started in a canyon. 10 acres burned in 20 minutes. It jumped to 100 acres within a few hours, 900 acres, and then 30 minutes after that, it doubled in size. A lot of people, as you mentioned, considering how late it was, woken up by those emergency alerts on their phones. As we were driving in around 1 o'clock in the morning, a lot of people fleeing. And I spoke with one woman. She works on a ranch here. There are a few ranches here in Malibu. She had to flee as she was trying to get her horses into her trailer. She had to leave them behind. You can imagine how emotional she was, waiting to be able to return to see what is left. In terms of the university here, Pepperdine, important to point out because it was threatened for a period of time. The power was cut off. Students were told to shelter in place. The good news here, fire crews surrounded that area. They seem to have a control on the fire there. With that said, though, classes have been canceled today. You can imagine, though, a lot of people still on edge as the wind does pick up a little bit later on today. That fire behavior going to continue to increase. Again, 0% contained, more than 1,800 acres, and you've got hundreds of crews scrambling to control this thing, Cloud.
All right, Jonathan Vigliotti on the ground for us, as always, covering these wildfires. Jonathan, we appreciate you. Stay safe.